Hi, welcome. My name's Ooh, okay. I hope that's sounding better. Please let me know what the sound is like. Let me just move that out of the road. Okay, welcome. My name is Michelle Tutrissa. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up, and I'm here in New South Wales, Australia. So please jump on. Let us know where you're from if you've never been on here before. And we're going to do some fun crafting tonight. So, whoops, don't need those two colours. Let's just move those out of the road. Pop them down there. Okay, so let's hope, if there's any problems with the sound, please let me know. Hi, Ali from England. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My sister is actually flying out from England to Australia at the moment. Hi, Deb. How are you going? So, welcome, Ali. It's great to have you on here. Okay, then. So, let me just catch up with a little bit with what's been happening of lately. I have moved my craft room. So you will see a little bit of a different setup behind me. I still haven't sorted out. Oh, the sound is great. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. I still haven't sorted out my phone issues. So unfortunately, we won't be landscape. We're still going to be portrait mode. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know whether it is actually my phone or whether it is actually Streamlabs that I use. I'm going to have to look into that a bit more. But anyway, we can keep going with this. We can still all see it. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little bit of a feedback from my phone. So just let me see if I can turn the volume down without turning everything off. Okay, I'm hoping that that's better. I can't hear myself now coming back at me. Okay, we're going to play with tonight with some paper. Now, let me just flick my camera down so you can see what I've got here on my desk. As I was saying, I've rearranged my room. So I'm now all set up here. I just have to get my sewing room all set up now, because I sort of had to dismantle it to be able to move everything down here. So as you can see behind me, and if you've kept up with me on my Facebook page, you would have seen some of the things that happened where I have this cupboard behind me used to sit in front of me. Now I've got a window. So during the day, I can sit here and I can see some sky and I can see the grass. I can still see the next door neighbours, but that's okay. Today I had a lovely magpie outside visiting me. So it's quite nice to have a different view than just a wall of cardstock and ink, though it is a bit different in the fact that I now can't just reach for things if I've forgotten something or I've changed my mind and want to do something a bit different. I really do have to sort of stick with what I'm doing unless I get up and move around. So I've decorated the room with some pictures on the walls, stamping up stuff, a little bit of embroidery that I've done. And if you want to see some of the tips that I found while I was doing this and reorganising, now I still have lots of things still organised. I've still got boxes on the floor of bits and pieces. Hello, Sue. How are you? Nice to have you on here for the first time. That's great. So yes, that's been a big adventure, moving everything. It took us about 2 weeks all up. Though once we sort of started, I mean, it didn't take that long to actually get it finished, but there's just always those little bits and pieces we still have to sort out. Anyway, had enough of that. So let's turn this camera around and let's have a look what I've got on the desk. So this is the paper I thought we'd have a play with. Now, I didn't buy the stamps that go with this. This is in the mini catalogue, and it comes with stamps and dies so you can pre-cut this out. And I've got a funny feeling it could be, well, the stamps and the dies, not the paper, the stamps and the dies may be continuing on. So you may find that in the new catalogue. Now, I'm not going to promise anything. I've just got a vague memory of that happening. But I grabbed this while it was on Celebration, because Celebration is now over, and I haven't really played with it. So today I thought we're going to make a kid's card, because I don't very often do cards for kids because my kids are all grown up. So, but this is just lovely paper. Now, let me just pull out a few sheets so I can show it to you if you don't already have it. So one side of each of these papers has got children on it, and some of the dies would cut these out. They wouldn't cut out all of them, but they'd cut out some of them. And they're children doing different things. This one here is children doing arts and crafts. Then on the back of it, you've got that lovely image. Then we have this one here where you've got children reading with books, and on the back of that lovely image. And it's one of the reasons why I got this paper, is because the images on the back are so beautiful and bright as well. Then this one here, the children are playing, I suppose, outdoor games, and some of these children, I think it's really good. Some of them have got disabilities, so it's really showing children of different abilities, even children of different colour. It's very, very inclusive, which I think is just fantastic. And then on this one here, well, this one here you can cut up into sections. So each one of these pieces here are a 6x6. Let me just move that over a little bit so it's a little bit more in the screen. And these two pieces here are a 4x6. And this one here, I haven't measured it, but it's a bit narrow. So I'm actually going to be using one of these pieces, but I'm cutting it down to my card front. So we're going to build up a bit of an image, a bit of a scene. Then we have this one where there's children are all cooking. And the back of that one is just that colour there, that swirls. And I think the last one are these children here having a lot of fun. I suppose discovery. And you got discovery of TV and science, and discovery of boats, and finding bugs on the ground. There's all sorts of things here. So a really fun set of designer series paper, and the stamp set, I believe, and the dies are just as much fun as these are. But I've just done some fussy cutting today. Now, as I've said before, Tuesdays are going to be Template Tuesday, which means that I choose a card template. And today I went looking on, I'll just pull it out from here, on Page Maps to see what they had. And I decided that we're going to go for this particular template here. So I'm using this one, and unfortunately, effective as of this month, apparently card maps will no longer be published. So hopefully they're going to keep some of the old ones, because I really do like Page Maps. Very good also for scrapbooking layouts too. Some great ideas. So I'm going to do a very loose my take on this particular layout. Okay, so let me just move some of this out of the road, and we're going to be using Granny Apple Green cardstock for our card base. So I still need to cut that. So let's go ahead and cut that. Now, whether you're in Australia, and I think England have got the same cardstock sizes, it's an A4 piece of cardstock, but if you're using the American letter size cardstock, you still just would cut that in half. So with the A4, we're going to cut it at 10.5 centimetres. If you're using the letter cardstock, then you would cut it at 4.25 inches. Okay. So we don't need that piece. That piece can be put aside for another card base at another time. And then I'm going to score this at 14.9. So again, it's half the length of your cardstock. So ours here in the A4 is 29.9, and I'm scoring this at 14.9. And if you had the letter size, of course, then you would be are scoring that at 5.5 inches. Okay, so let me just give that a good score. So now we've done that, I'm going to fold this in half and grab my bone folder here. So when you score this, you have a valley on one side and a mountain on the other. Now I have frozen. Hold on 1 second. Okay, are we back yet? Sorry about that. That froze up a little bit. But when you score this, your scoring will leave a valley on one side and a mountain on the other. And we're going to fold our mountain to the center of the card. Now, Ali and Sue, are you both card makers? Have you had anything to do with Stampin' Up? Are you demonstrators? Everyone here is welcome. Okay, so there's our card base. So I've already done a little bit of cutting of our cardstock. So I've cut myself a piece of this one here, and I've cut this the same size as the front, because if we look at our excuse me, I've not long had my dinner, so and I have frozen. Oh, this is going to play up tonight. I am terribly sorry. I'm not real happy with my phone at the moment. You're a hobby demo with Stampin' Up. That's great, Sue. Okay, so let's just cross our fingers that this internet or my phone is going to keep working. If I need to, and Ali, you're also a card maker and a hobby demo. Your mum and your sister-in-law are your customers. That's wonderful. Okay, so this one here, they've used their printed paper, the DSP, as the full front of the card. So I've cut this at 10.5 by your 14.9. I've just actually cut it a fractionally under the 14.9 because that fold, by the time it's folded, it's slightly closer to 14.8. And we're going to adhere that to the front of our card. So we'll do that first. Now I am going to make a few little changes on this. Now I'm just going to pop some multi-purpose glue. I love my multi-purpose glue, as most people who watch me know, because with the glue you can get a little bit more slip and move it into place. And this bottle is just getting a little bit empty. So let's pop that on the front there. Now, those of you that have been watching me for a while know that I've had a few issues with my phone and the camera. So I'm still trying to work out how we're going to fix it so we can go back to landscape. But I'm just, because I've been using old phones, and so some of them, that's why they're playing up a bit. They're getting a little bit too old. So I just didn't want to use my good phone, but I don't want to go out and buy another phone just for this. But we'll have to see what we do. Okay, so there's our card base already done with our piece of Designer Series paper adhered to that there. So then I've grabbed that piece of Designer Series paper that has got those sections in it. Let me just find it again. So sorry, I should have left it out so we can. Of course, it'll be the last one in here. Not quite, but almost. There we go. So there's that piece there. So what I have done is I've taken this piece and cut it out, and then I've trimmed it down. And I've trimmed it down 2.5 centimetres all the way around. Okay, well, sorry, I'll rephrase that. I've trimmed it down 2.5 centimetres off two sides. So I've cut this piece here down to that size there. So I've cut, basically, let me just explain this a bit more. This is 10.5 centimetres wide, and I've cut this at 8 centimetres wide. So there's a 2.5 centimetre difference between there and there. And then I've cut a 2.5 centimetres from the bottom. So I've worked out where or what portion of this design I wanted to use, and then cut a piece which was 8 centimetres wide by, it would be by 12.4 centimetres deep. Okay, so I hope I've explained that well enough to you. And we're going to pop this piece. So this is going to be here on our card map. They've actually used a plain piece of paper, but I'm using two because my background isn't that busy, and I want my busyness to be on this piece here. So that's going to go onto there. So I've got a little bit of a scene. So not much stamping in this particular card. It's just a very simple one because I generally don't make kids cards because my children, as I said before, are all grown up, don't have grandkids yet, so these don't seem to happen. So kids cards are generally just don't get made. So this is just a nice little bit of something nice and different for me. Okay, so we're going to adhere that down on there. So there's our scene. Then we have a strip of paper there underneath those heart balloons. So what I've done is I've taken this piece of designer series paper, and that was one that had the kids on the other side, and I've done my strip in that. I wanted something that was going to be contrasting, and we're going to pop that piece straight down there. Now that strip there is about 1.3 centimetres wide or half an inch. Okay, again by the length of our card, which in my case is the 14.9. Don't want to put too much glue on there because we don't want it oozing too much, and we're just going to pop that there like that. As I said, just this is a very, very simple card. It's nothing too difficult. Now, I've done a little bit of fussy cutting because I'm not quite sure which one of these that I want to use. So I've cut out a few and I've fussy cut them with my scissors. So I have got this one here, which we could add on here, which is the little boy and his dog, because we're building up the scene here. So we could have that one on there. The other ideas, we could have two children there playing on the rug. And the other one, which I thought was quite cute, is the little boy with just the little bird there. So the other idea that I had, now we pop the glue on there, is maybe even cutting out a little piece of vellum just to break up the scene a little bit, because sometimes our background paper can become very busy. So let me just grab my vellum, which is just here. Now, our vellum, of course, is going to be discontinued from our new annual catalogue. So if you are wanting some, grab it soon. And I'm just going to cut this piece a little bit narrower so I can run it through my mini cut and emboss. So I'm just cutting that just around about 8 centimetres in width. Pop that back into there. And I've got my dies here somewhere. I do have them. There we go. So I have got here stylish shapes, and I do want to use just a circle one. I'm not thinking to go too big, so that's the second largest of those stitch circles. And let's grab our cut and emboss machine. Our plates. Hello, Leslie. Thank you for joining us. And we're just going to die cut that circle. Now, I just want to have a look and see what the vellum circle is going to look like underneath it, because I don't want it to take away from what we're doing. I just want it to break up a little bit of the busyness of the paper. But I want to see if it's going to do what I want it to do. So let's just pop that there. Now, I might need your help in which one of these we're going to use. So I thought if we sit that on top there. So what they've done here is they've got their balloons and everything up the top. Now, I don't want my little boys and girls looking like they're floating in midair. So I'm bringing it down to the bottom of my page. So I'm just bringing that down a bit. Now, it's whether we sit, because I want him to be the focal point. So I want him to really stand out. So do we use the little boy and the bird? Or do we use little boy and his puppy dog? Or do we use the little boy or the little girl, because then it would go for either a boy or girl card. Okay, which one do you think? We have got A, which is just the little boy and his bird. B, which is the little boy and his puppy. Or C, the little boy and girl. Okay, you need to let me know which one do you think we should use. Yeah, it is sad, Leslie. I'm going to actually, I placed my order today and I should have put in for another lot of that, because a lot of the stuff is going very quickly apparently. C, anyone else agree with Leslie and go C? So we've got A, B or C. No, Ali, you want B? Okay, that one. So we've got one for that one for that one. Okay, I just need a second person to come in with either. Okay, so C. So this one here, so we've got two C's, one B. So we might go the C then. Okay, so we're going to go these two. So we're going to sit those two there onto that one. Okay, I am going to do a little bit of stamping. And I'm using another stamp set, which I'm very sad to say is also going to be leaving us. But I love this happy birthday. It's such a strong happy birthday. And it's neither feminine nor masculine. So I'm going to be sad to see this one go. But I will admit I am using this set in my wedding album. Still haven't scrapped all my wedding album. I've been married for 24 years. So I've really got to get in and get it done. And that's one of the stamp sets that I have been using. So I won't be throwing that one away too quickly. Okay. So I've got some, let me just pop this to one side. And I've got some basic white here. And I need to cut this down. Now, if you watch me, you will know that I like to cut my cardstock into quarters, so to make it much more easy to handle. So I'm going to cut this down at 10.5, and then I'm going to cut it at the 29.9. Oops, I have frozen yet again. Let's just, there we go. This is getting bad. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and maybe buy something that I can use. And we're going to cut this down to 14. So I'll cut this at 10 centimetres wide by 14.5. 0.4, and that's going to be our insert for our card. Then I've got this piece left, which I'm going to do my stamping on for my sentiment. The ink that I'm going to use is the Azure Afternoon, because I really like the bright colour, and that just brings in from that blue that we've used there. So just ink that up, make sure we've got good coverage, and I'm just going to stamp that along the bottom there, just like that. Oh, you think the vellum's gone already? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. It's a good basic vellum, and it's a nice weight vellum too. So, yeah, I'm going to miss it. Okay, so I want to trim this down a little bit, and I'm just going to use my trimmer as a guide. I'm lining up the groove that the blade runs through with the bottom of my sentiment, and I'm just going to move it up a little bit, and I'm going to cut. Now that way, hopefully I've now got a straight line underneath that sentiment, which I do. So now I can work out how wide I want to make this, and I want to make it just roughly the same as what I've just cut, so that with just that little bit of difference between the bottom of the lettering, and that's going to work out at around about 1 centimetre. So I might just trim this just to give me a square edge on one side. And I'm going to line this up, taking that right to the very top. My shirt just gets getting caught in that. So I'm taking my paper right to the very top, so it's hitting that top bar up there, so I know that's nice and straight. And I'm going to cut that at 1 centimetre. Pop that over that side. So that's now my sentiment. So I'm going to trim my sentiment down just a little bit on that side, and this one here, it's just hanging over the edge. Now I know my paper is 8 centimetres, and I'm going to cut that about there. We can trim that down a bit more if we wanted to. So I've actually cut that to about 8 centimetres. Now I've just got to play with this a little bit, because what they've done, I don't know whether you can actually see this, but the sentiment, I've already glued this strip here down. It looks like their sentiment is actually tucked underneath that, and then it's coming out a little bit on this side from the, let me just bring this up and you can see it. It's coming out a little bit on this side past this white piece here. So I'm hoping that I can, I haven't glued this overly well, and usually I tend to glue things very well. I'm hoping I may be able to slip that into there. So we can need to trim that down just that little bit more. Only got that much more to trim, because our happy birthday is going to be so it's going to go from there, and we're going to have that. I'm going to trim that down fairly close to there. So that's where I want that to sit. So we're just going to do a little bit of a dry layout and just see if everything's going to work. The sketch I got from Page Maps. So if you look up Page Maps, just type into your search bar on your computer, Page Maps, and you should come up And then I've gone to card maps, but they won't be, they're not going to be doing card maps by the looks of it any longer. They're only, because they started off, it was a company that started off doing page maps for scrapbooking. And that's how I got onto them many years ago. But they may have, they've got a section here. If you have a look at this, let me bring this up so you can see it. So when this comes up on your computer, you have page maps and you have card maps. Now that's the one here. It says here effective April 2024, card maps will no longer be published. But if you go into PDF archives, you'll probably find all their old card maps from previous years. So it's just one of those places. Otherwise, you may find some of their card maps on Pinterest as well. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there to hold that down. I'm going to pop that onto there. So that's looking good to me. So I'm going to just want to make sure that I've got a little bit of slip to tuck that back in. And I'm going to add some glue to the back of this. Not too much because we don't want it oozing out everywhere. Things like page maps are really good in the fact that it just gives you some really good layout ideas. If you're stuck on what to do. And the same with the cards as well. So it's going to be a shame to lose them, but anyway, things don't stay the same forever, as they say. Now I'm just going to adhere these two little people onto my vellum. And I'm just using glue for this. So I've just popped a little bit of glue there. Now the other thing that I do want to do, I have got some linen thread here with me as well. It's amazing what you find when you clean up. I have bought linen thread over the years and then lost it all. Well, guess what? I found every roll of linen thread I bought in the last couple of years because I kept buying it because I thought, where happened to my last lot? So I've now got more linen thread than I actually need. This is a very old one. I'm going to use this up. So I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit by just running my fingers down it. And it's amazing the warmth of your hand will straighten out that linen. And I'm just going to wrap this around my fingers a couple of times and then just bring that in there. So I'm just going to grab some seal. I'm going to pop a little bit of seal underneath here. Now, when you're using vellum, you want to make sure that wherever you put your adhesive, that it's hidden. And I'm just going to stick that onto there and just spread that out a little bit. Just give that a little bit of a... So it's just not all clumped up in one spot. So that's going to look good on there. And we're going to grab some dimensionals, pop it on the back. Now, because I've glued the little people straight onto the vellum, I can then hide my dimensionals behind them. I don't want to put anything in the middle because I'm going to have that bulk of linen thread sitting there. So we'll just take off the backings. And we're going to pop those. Oops, just want to take that up, just that little. Put that about there. And there we go. Now, normally I would probably have them just a fractionally higher, but I think that's going to be okay there in that little spot. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of bling. I'm just wondering what I've got here that we could add to this, just to the yellow could go on there. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. Doesn't tell me what colours they are, but could use those. I'll have to go through my box soon and work out what of these are still available and what's gone. Okay, I think I might use those because I don't know whether they're afternoon azure, but there's nice fun colours in here. Let me just grab my take a pic tool. On there. On there. And we might just pop one just there. Okay. So these that I've just used, which I've got a funny feeling possibly could be carrying over, are the rainbow adhesive back dots. So they got some really nice colours in that. So they're not too shiny or too blingy, but just some really nice colours. So there you go. So there's our card. Bring in our page map. So you can see where we got the idea from tonight. So there you are. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's just a fun little card to make. And I think I might make a few more of these. I'm using different, a couple of the other scenes, and have some kids' cards in my stash, because I'm sure I can find some friends with some children that would love these cards. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. I hope you can join me again. Now, just so that you know, normally I would have a live on Friday at, one thing we forgot. We've got to put our insert in. Okay, let's do that. We've cut it. I've got a little bit of the green here that I cut earlier. Now, this is only about 1.3 or probably half an inch in width. I'm just going to put a little bit on the bottom there. Now, I've just dropped my scissors on the floor, so I'm going to have to grab my other paper snips here. Just trim that down. Whoops. Pop some adhesive on the back there. See, I always forget to put my insert in my card. Because I've made that a little bit smaller, because I cut this at 10 by the 14.4. So you just have that. What colour did I say that green was? That was Lemon Lime Twist, just popping through. So there we go. So there's the front of our card. There's the insert for our card. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could add another little kit there. Actually, I think we will. Might as well. We've got to use these up. Put that one on there. Since he was the second choice that everyone had. Bye, Leslie. Thanks for joining. I hope you come back and join us again another time. But there you go. There's that card. Now, what I was going to say before I interrupted myself. Normally, I would be back on here on Fridays at 1 o'clock, but this Friday I am away due to the fact that my sister is flying out from England and we're heading off on Friday for a family get-together. So I won't be here for the live, so I will be back next Tuesday. Let me just flick this camera back onto me. So I will be here again next Tuesday at 7:30 to create another card. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that either I will have my pre-order for then, or I will definitely, or again, fingers crossed, have it for the Friday. So then I can show you some new products. So have a great week. Take care. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. And I will try to get this blogged as soon as I possibly can. Bye for now.